For a second, let's all imagine you're a parent. I mean, maybe one of you are, but can you just imagine? Can you just imagine having that pressure of having to feed your children, however many you might have, and then the disappointment and regret that would come for not having, being able to provide for your children. This is what ties into my foundation, Hunters for the Hungry. Living in a rural area like where I live, Amherst, a lot of people hunt, and so this is what Hunters for the Hungry does. Hunters in Virginia, hunger in Virginia has posed a serious problem in the less than fortunate residents that cannot provide for the families. The Hunters for the Hungry Foundation donates venison to the less fortunate residents of Virginia that cannot afford, food and lean meat. My credibility as a hunter, sportsman, and outdoorsman of 14 years, I've come to realize that some hunters do not just do it for the sport like many of us do in this area, but rather to simply provide food for their families and children. As I've grown up and harvested many deer of my own, I've come to realize how important venison is to many residents who cannot afford it for their families. Today I'm going to explain to you the problem of hunger of the less fortunate in Virginia, also how this can be prevented by donating money to my foundation, Hunters for the Hungry. I'll do this by explaining how they operate, what they do, the main problem that is in Virginia for hunters, and why it's good. To begin, I'm going to elaborate on what the real issue is. According to the Washington Post, there are more than 850,000 Virginia residents are experiencing poverty, in which hunger plays a major role. On a lighter but yet still serious note, according to the North of the James article, there are some 250,000 people in Virginia who are food insecure, which means, they're not extremely in poverty, they're just, not quite adequate when it comes to food. Yet another disturbing fact was said by the Mitzvah Circle Foundation when they quoted 1 in 7 families in Virginia lack adequate food. As quoted by HealthTree.com, not consuming enough food, especially in Virginia, can lead to dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. Now that I've explained the main cause of poverty and famine in Virginia, I'm going to explain how this can be prevented. As the Washington Times quoted, since it started, the Hunters for the Hungry Foundation has collected 1.4 million pounds of venison to provide more than 5.6 million meals to those in need. As you can see, that's a lot. That's just how they package and process it. That's just a picture of the emblem. Another explanation to what this foundation does was said by the Richmond Times-Dispatch, saying that Hunters for the Hungry accept donated meat and distribute it to the needy. Another way this foundation helps is by managing the deer population. This is reflected by the Metropolitan Times when they said the county of Fairfax, Virginia has a deer population that is estimated to be 25,000, which is 5 times what the officials say that the actual habitat environment could actually handle. Now that I've covered what the Hunters for the Hungry Foundation does, I'm going to transition into what the positive outcomes we will see if we donate to this charity. Many of the positive outcomes for Hunters for the Hungry Foundation are reflected by, donating the meat, the pure meat, to the less fortunate. Also, by managing deer populations. If there weren't hunters out there to donate meat and all this, then the deer population would take off, and that would in return pose diseases and stuff on the deer population, which would just cause even more problems. Also, like in counties like Fairfax, the deer population is overrun and definitely overpopulated, and then this in return causes more motor vehicle accidents, which sometimes turn out deadly. So obviously this is a major problem in Virginia, and in conclusion, this foundation is one that we definitely need to donate money to in order to decrease famine in Virginia and decrease motor vehicle casualties. Thank you.
Thanks.